this it, yeah? Yeah. Go now? Will you be in front? Do you want 3 more? No, go on, I'm done. You go. Come on, Joe. 6 all as well. What's that? This is for the tournament. Mate, you felt me heart rate here. Yeah! I know he's buzzing at it. He just said it's 6-6. 6. Who else? Who got the high score? Dunn, 92. No way.
Yeah, that was Ivan Toney. So Andy Dunn, who's Andy Dunn. There is. That's the one. High score.
That's top.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Blankenheim for this media conference with Declan Rice. Just a reminder that this one is embargoed until 6 AM tomorrow morning, and we'll also have another section at the end embargoed until 10:30 PM UK time tomorrow evening. So that's clear. And Rob Dorset, do you want to get us underway? Sorry, just one of 3 questions each as well. Thanks.
Declan, lovely to see you.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Look, I know what all this means to you. It's written large all over your face every time you play for your country. Do you feel this is a moment in history?
Yeah, definitely. Again, it's a massive moment for our nation. You know, getting to the final back in 2020. You obviously don't think that moment could be topped, but obviously we're now back in another final back-to-back, which is history in itself. But now we're obviously aiming to do one more, and we don't want to just keep talking about it as in we're getting to finals and we're happy with that. You know, we now want to be a country where we win, and we can continue to grow, you know, with the young players that we have coming through for the next generations, that England can be a really big force.
You mentioned Euro 2020, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
How much have you personally used that as motivation, and the rest of the squad as well, for this particular tournament?
Yeah, massive. I think, honestly, I've never seen a group so motivated. You know, in training, just how we talk with each other around the place when we have downtime. Everyone's so driven to want to win this game, even before the tournament, just to win the tournament alone. You know, we want it so much. I think in terms of Euro 2020, it hurt. You know, it still hurts to this day. You know, seeing Italy walk up at our stadium, our home stadium, and lift that trophy is something that lives with you as a football player. But the beauty of football is you get chances to, you know, recreate their memories, and, you know, we have that chance now on Sunday. So, look, we know it's going to be tough. We can never overlook Spain. They've been an unbelievable nation for so many years now. So we know it's going to be a cracker, and we're, well, all 26 men, whoever's involved, are going to have to be on it and be ready.
You've covered more distance in this tournament than any other player. I don't know whether there's any pride in that in itself, but it shows how hard you've worked. But it feels like this England team as a whole have worked incredibly hard. 2 bouts of extra time, let's not forget. And Spain have had an extra day to recover before this final.
Yeah.
You add all that together, is that an issue? Is that one area of concern?
Nah, to be honest, I don't think so. I think we're so used to it at club, you know, where we're playing games every 3 or 4 days. We're conditioned to do that. So you said about me running, I think the most distance, you know, I would probably say the first couple of games I was probably feeling more tired than I am now. You know, as the adrenaline kicks in more, as the games ramp up, you know, you get that extra bit of energy, extra bit of fire. And I think now, especially on Sunday, I think all of us will run through a brick wall to do anything to win this game. And, you know, whether that's in 90, 120, we'll give it absolutely everything. And, you know, that's all we can ask of each other.
Hi, Declan.
Hey, mate.
You played in Euro 2020, I think your first major final.
Yeah.
So how did you feel before this one compared to that one?
Yeah, I feel calm. I feel really calm, to be honest with you. Like always, I don't try to think about it too much. Probably the night before I'll start preparing. To me, it's a game of football. Look, it's a European final. It's the biggest stage. We wait for this moment every 4 years, you know, and we've now got a chance to create history. But yeah, I'm going to prepare for it like any other game, really. You know, be calm, just focus on the controllables, and yeah, try to do what I usually do, and try and have a good game. That's all I'm hoping for me and the team.
A lot's been spoken about Rodri, and Ollie Watkins, when he was in here before, said that you've been speaking to him about the battle and coming up against him. What are you looking forward to that battle, and also about him as a player?
Ollie said that.
Yeah, he said you've spoken to him about Rodri.
Yeah, no. Obviously, look, we obviously know Rodri's a top player. I think I've done an interview with Arsenal just before the end of the season, and I spoke really highly of him. I think we're two completely different players. We're players that constantly get compared to each other. And I think that's normal now, but I think we're two completely different players, in my opinion, and I'm sure he'd say the same thing. It's not just a battle me against him. They've also got Fabian Ruiz, Dani Olmo, Pedri if he's fit. They have a real top squad of players, and the midfield battle will be key. But the main thing is, I do have mutual respect for him because, what he's done, how he's come to England, adapted, won trophies, played week in, week out. He's been a top player now in this country for years. So, yeah, big respect for him. But obviously on Sunday it's business, and we want to get one over them for sure.
I have to ask you as well about your relationship with Ivan Toney. I've seen all the memes and couldn't escape the clip of you rapping along with him in the gym. Do you see that, and can you speak about the relationship as well?
Yeah, I just try to have as much fun as possible off the pitch. I think with me, what you see is what you get. I try to have a laugh, try to have a sing-song or dance whenever I can. With Ivan, I think we've just clicked. Ever since he got into the squad, we just got on. I think even from his time at Brentford, we used to speak all the time after games and stuff, swap shirts. So, yeah, we've always got on. And, yeah, we're really close now, which is really nice. We spent a lot of time together, and just even seeing him the other night come on, when he got his first minutes, made the impact, got the assist, obviously took his pen like however he did. It was just incredible. He's been unbelievable this tournament for the whole squad. So, yeah, he's a really, really good friend of mine now.
Okay, Faye, whoever has to dash, if you can pass the mic back to Faye quickly, and then we'll come back to the guys in the front.
Hi, Declan.
You're right.
Hi. Why are you different to Rodri? What's the difference between the two of you? What have you got that he hasn't, and vice versa? Yeah,
look, I think it's... Well, there's loads of things really, I think, to be honest with you. I think this year, obviously, I've been playing a bit more attacking at Arsenal. He's been more and more of an defensive midfielder. I started my career as a centre-back. He was born and bred Spanish, holding midfield. I think if you look at the best that have played there, your Xavi Alonso's, your Busquets, they play that six role the best that you can play it. And I've had to learn it. I've had to try and adapt. Ask questions, try and improve myself daily. So I would say in that sense it's probably different because he's always been a natural six. I've come into the six role probably the last 6 or 7 years since I probably started my West Ham career. But then obviously now at Arsenal I'm playing 8 and a bit more attacking. So we're a bit different now on that front. Obviously at Man City we play different roles, but yeah, they would probably be the main factors.
That's really interesting. I think I've asked you this before, but right at this moment in time, 2 days before the final, what would it mean to you to win the Euros?
Yeah, it would mean everything. I think if you win something for your country, I think we see when the women team won it, what it meant to them, what it meant to the nation. I'm lucky enough now to see a lot of the girls who are in that Arsenal squad, and to this day they still speak about it. And that's what we want now as a men's team. We want to win. We want to make the nation proud. We want to make the fans proud, and it's a chance to create our own little bit of history. So yeah, look, we're ready. But like I said, it's another game of football, and may the best team win.
We're asking everyone on TalkSport what they'd do if you did win the Euros. 3 years ago, it was have your first beer. Kyle Walker wants you all to get tattoos. That they have to be exactly the same. Phil Foden wants you all to dye your hair, possibly with a St George's flag.
They've all said this?
Yeah. I'm not making it up, I promise.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I don't want to speak into existence. I don't want to jinx anything because I feel like we've done that. We've done that in the World Cup. We've done that in the last Euros. And when things go your way, you end up thinking, why did we speak about things before they'd even happened? So, look, let's just wait and see what happens first. Like I said, one more game. That's what we've been doing throughout this tournament. And it's worked well so far. So one more game at a time, and then we can talk about silly haircuts and tattoos. But before then, I think it's just full focus. And I'm not trying to be robotic when I say that. I would give an answer, but yeah, I just want to focus on the game and then obviously see how it plans out and what happens.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Okay, Jordan then Henry. Thanks.
Hi, Declan. Good
Hey,
luck
mate.
for Sunday.
Thank you.
You've already brought European success to a fan base starved of glory. Many of us in the room here have seen England win Rugby World Cups, Cricket World Cups. Lewis Hamilton, 7-time F1 champion. Andy Murray has won 2 Wimbledon titles in the Olympics. We've seen what happened in 2012.
Yeah.
But have you and many of your teammates really discussed or taken in what winning a European championship would mean to not only you as players, but to the nation?
Yeah, I think all them great sporting achievements you've just mentioned, you see the nation coming together in them moments, and to experience one of them as an individual and as a team, we want that really bad. We do really want that. And before we left at St George's, Gareth, we had a meeting with Gareth, and he put up the special moments like that when England won the Ashes, the Rugby World Cup, how everyone gathered round in London, and there was like pictures of everyone and what it would be like, and you know, just to get that feel of how we could impact a nation. And look, we're obviously one game away from doing that. Like I said, we can't talk it up too much because it's, you know, going to be a tough game. But a chance to create history and have a moment with our fans, with you guys, with our manager is something that, you know, will be incredible and stay with us forever.
Do you think the experience of 3 years ago gives you the edge in this final?
I wouldn't say it gives us an edge. I think the final 3 years ago, I would say we was in that final probably a bit naive, and we've learned from that. I think we now would probably go about it a different way, in terms of, we know the last final we went 1-0 up and then probably just sat off and didn't really attack them as much as we should have. So I think now we would have probably have learned from that. And like I said, you know, not many times you go back-to-back finals with England, and I can tell you now, this group of players are so hungry, and you know, we just, you know, we talk about it as a group, and we might not say it to a lot of people, but we say it to each other, just how much we want it and what it would mean. So, yeah, one more to go, but we're ready.
And last one from me. Those of us that follow you on social media know you're big into your music. Should Sunday go your way, what will be top of your selection on playlist, on the Spotify playlist?
I don't know, you know, I've got such a wide variety of music. I don't know, I'd probably give a little rendition of Rice Rice Baby or something to the nation. I'm sure a lot of people would want to see that, but like I said, who knows? Hopefully I can do that, and that would be a good memory to create with the fans.
Declan, hi. First,
Hey,
good
Henry.
luck Sunday.
Thank you.
Has your club manager been on?
Yeah, I've spoke to Mikel. He's been great. We had a phone call the other day. We were speaking for about 10 minutes. That was good. You know, it was nice to speak to him. Hadn't spoke to him since the end of the season, so that was really nice. And then he texted me the other night saying "Vamos" when we got to the final. So, yeah, I'm sure he's going to be split, obviously, because he's Spanish, but also he's got boys in the squad who are obviously English as well. So, yeah, it's a tough one for him, but he did wish me all the best. So, yeah, I was happy with that.
Can you tell us a little bit about your sort of partnership with Kobe? Because he seems to have stepped in with such maturity.
Yeah, he's so good. Look, I've spoke about him so many times. He's so good. And I always think back now to the Iceland game just before the warm-up game. And people were questioning whether we could play together or not because we lost 1-0 to Iceland at home, and whether he was ready or not to play. And I think you see, as this tournament's gone on, this boy can be trusted in any position. You know, whether you want to play him as the 6, whether you want to play him as the 8. His knowledge of the game, the experience he's having, even though this is only really his first breakthrough season, he's played in big matches, and I think you can just see with the way he plays, the swagger, the authority, and what I like about it is we've got a really good relationship. We've probably got closer now than we've probably ever have been, and that's important for midfield partnerships. I think when you're playing with a midfield partner, you need to understand each other's game. You need to play close to each other. That's why you see us playing a couple of like little passes to each other in games. You know, them little first passes, connections are so important, and we've been working really well together on the training pitch. So, look, this boy is going to go on to be massive. You know, he's only 18, 19. Well, he's 18 years old exactly. So, yeah, he's destined for great things. And what I love about him as well, he isn't big-headed. He's got a great family around him. You see his family in the stands after the game. They're so happy, smiley, speak to people. So, yeah, Man United have got a top player on their hands for the next decade, I'm sure.
You came through at West Ham, obviously strong connection with 66. Was that very much part of your upbringing? to make sure that these years of hurt could end?
Yeah, definitely. And I think I realised that when, you know, I was lucky enough to win the trophy at West Ham and, you know, the Conference League, what it meant to the fans. You know, when I was at West Ham, you know, you would constantly hear about the boys of 66 and what they done and what they done for that club. So when I won that there, it was just another level. So to obviously now win this potentially with England, I think this would top anything that you could ever win in your career. You could go on to win anything, but I think winning with your country is probably something that can't be topped. I think that's the way I feel, and I think a lot of the lads probably feel about it as well.
Hi, Declan.
Hello.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
We've just been speaking to Conor Gallagher, who paid tribute to you in midfield. There's been lots of changes, lots of young talent coming through, but you've made that transition so seamless for them too. That's part of your quality and your leadership. Have you found that this is a whole new role in this Euros as a leader on the pitch and for that midfield, and how much faith do you believe in it? Yeah,
definitely. Look, I think every time, you know, I put on the shirt, every time I go out there, I try to do the best for the team. You know, I try to give 100%. I think as the tournament's gone on, you know, I've looked more and more myself. I would say probably the Denmark game was one where I probably looked back on myself and knew I had a poor game, knew I wasn't up to standards, but then knew that I had a game after that to then get going again. And, you know, I think since that moment on, you know, I've grown in confidence. I felt strong. I felt good. I've had that belief, you know, that I'm playing well. And I think the lads, you've seen that mindset with the lads as well, that everyone's kind of gone up a few more gears, which is really, really good. And like you said, I've had different midfield partnerships. It's not really made a difference to me because they've all got different qualities. You know, it's just trying to balance it really with who I'm playing with. And they've all poised something different, but I always say to them, you know, go and express yourselves. And I know I can be that one there who sit in front of the back four and try to protect. And like I said, if it means me sacrificing some bits of my game for the team to win, I don't see that as a problem, because at the end of the day, if we're champions, none of it will be questioned. So, yeah, that's the way I see it.
You have always defended your team's performances as well, going through his group, saying, we believe, we know the quality's there. Are you now peaking at the right time? Because sometimes in that match, it felt like some of the players were dancing again.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'll always be honest with our performances. I think me a couple of years ago would used to probably speak to you guys and want to not say the real truth. I'll always speak, you know, honestly now. You know, in probably the Serbia game we played well. Denmark was probably one of the worst performances that we've had, but we obviously had to defend each other. Slovenia, we obviously drew, was a better performance, but then as Slovakia went on, we obviously 1-0 down on the brink of going out, thought we actually played much better. So there's different things that go on throughout the tournament, that goes on in a player's mind. But I think the main thing is that like you've said, is the confidence that you've seen now. I think you see the confidence of our attacking players coming out. I think I spoke after, it might have been the Denmark game, about, you know, showing love to our front players. I think Phil the other night was unbelievable, playing in that central role. Jude looked so free. Saks looked so free. You know, H dropping in, going high. The lads coming off the bench. You know, we're really starting to go through the gears, I think. And our last two performances against Switzerland and the Netherlands have been really good. But now is the chance and the time to have the best performance when you need it most. So, yeah, Sunday's going to be a real test, but that's where, as players, you know, your character's needed and you need to step up.
You came out and you spoke up when the criticism got really bad, and your manager said he didn't listen to it. But he's now admitted that everybody wants to be loved. How happy were you that you got all the way to the final, of course, but that criticism is now lifting? And how much would you love to deliver what has been the ideal for Gareth Southgate, to start winning in the under-21 tournaments, to have the DNA, to identify the players, to bring the success, which also includes the success of the Lionesses, all together, to complete it from his vision?
Look, I can't speak highly enough of Gareth. I don't think, well, he deserves it more than anyone, I think. England manager's job is probably one of the most scrutinised jobs in the world, and if you look at what he's done for us in tournaments, semi-finals, 2 finals, a quarter-final, obviously after the group games it was tough, the boos, people chucking stuff on the pitch, you have to see that, and you have to be calm in them moments. And obviously for him as the manager, he has to be calm. And the way he still reacted with us after that, how calm he was, even though if he would have been feeling a different way, it still made us feel really calm. And we always still had a vision and a belief that we could go and do special things. And I think as we've been going through the knockout rounds and we've been getting better, you've seen a group that are more together, a nation that are more together now. I feel like there's more positivity around it. You know, it wasn't me at the start, you know, calling out anyone. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, of course, but it felt like some people were saying negative stuff for the sake of it. And obviously now it's changed in a way which is really, really good. And look, we respect everyone, all the ex-players that have put on an England shirt, because they're part of this history as well. And obviously now we're feeling that love, that confidence, and we can't thank everyone enough for that. And yeah, you know, just keep with us, one more game, and hopefully we can do something special and, you know, give memories to you all for forever.
Thanks, Gary. James, and then we've got the four here to finish.
Hi, Dec. Good luck
Hey,
for
mate.
Sunday. And
thank you.
confidence boost for you there, so you're welcome. Ollie Watkins, when he was in here, he also said that you two had talked about Jorginho's impact on the last Euros final, obviously the teammate he was now. The sort of common view of that game is that he maybe took it away from England a little bit in the second half of the extra time. Is that, do you agree with that? And is that something that you're talking about because of Rodri and Spain and their style?
Yeah, I think it was just the way Italy played it. Look, first of all, I've obviously played with Jorginho this year for the first time, and I always backed him and knew he was a top player. There was a lot of question marks around his ability and what he was like as a player, but I can tell you now, I'd probably put him in the top 5 players I've played with. And I'm not just saying that because you just asked me about him, just in terms of his football intelligence and IQ, it's really, really up there. And how he controls a football match is quite special. And we're really lucky to have him at Arsenal. I think in that final, it kind of got away from us because, like I said, it's all about a numbers game, really, football. We played a back 5, they played a back 4, they had an extra man in midfield, and they've realised that and utilised that. And in the end, you know, you're trying to press one man, but one man's always free for them. So it becomes a bit of a numbers game, and they managed to get a bit of control that we lacked. But I felt like with the back 5 in this tournament that we've played, we've had much better control. You know, we've passed the ball really well. We've been a lot more fluid between the lines. You know, we've used the goalkeeper a lot more if we need to do that, which is really important. And we've been calm and composed. So, look, whatever formation Gareth chooses to go with in this final, I think we're all really confident that we can improve on the last final and, you know, show that we have learnt from, you know, what's needed to win a final.
You kept the ball really well against the Netherlands. I think it's 60-odd% possession, which is quite rare for England against the Netherlands. So are you going to have to do that again against Spain? Yeah, definitely. I think before the game we looked at, you know, the Dutch and their midfield, and, you know, they've got top players who play in midfield. You know, PSV's Player of the Year. I think Veerman's won the Dutch Player of the Year. Reinders, I played against him at AZ, and there was a lot of talk around how well they keep the ball, and I never feel like we get that love and that credit about us, how well we actually keep the ball as well. And we have been doing that really well of late. Even against Switzerland, we kept the ball really well in the final third. So, look, against Spain, it's going to be needed. You're going to need to take touches, take the sting out of the game, because, you know, Spain, if you look at over the years, you know, they're the king at killing football matches and passing the ball. So we need to use all our experience, everything we've got to try and control it and try and win the game. On a totally different note, can I ask you about pancakes?
Yeah, of course you can. I'm sick of them now. Honestly, I started having them last July and I'm still having them now in July. It's been a year of pancakes.
So you have been eating them throughout the tournament?
Yeah, of course. I need to. That's what gives me fuel.
Do you have to have a conversation with the nutritionist here about that?
No, they're out. They're out. Pancakes are out. Lads have different stuff, different setups. There's a lot of lads here who have pancakes as well. It's just... It was just, I'd done obviously a men's health interview, and we just ended up talking about like pre-match food, because it had been recorded me before, talking about what I'd have to give myself fuel. And when I went to Arsenal, I had a conversation with the new nutritionist, and he just completely changed it with me. And I was a bit sceptical at the start, because what I used to have kind of, you know, it worked for me. So I was thinking, oh, what if this pancake thing doesn't go too well? And you know what? It gives me a lot of fuel, a lot of energy, and I'm actually sick to death of them now. So it'll be the last set of pancakes on Sunday, and then I'll have a rest from them for a few weeks.
Thank you.
No worries.
Yeah. Hi, Declan. Aralas from TV2 Norway.
Hey, mate.
I want to ask you about Kobe. You talked about him as a football player, but as a person as well. I guess it must be really challenging mentally to go through what he's done, like imposing himself in such a big squad as the England one. The criticism after the Iceland game, and then ending up in the team and playing the way he has. Doesn't look very scared, does he? So how is he as a? What qualities does he have as a human being as well?
I think if you looked at him and he was stood here now, you'd be able to have an impression of him straight away, and that is just calm and composed. And I think exactly how he is as a person, he shows that on a football pitch. He's not fazed by anything. I think his age says it all, really. Rarely you get 18-year-olds. Obviously, you've got Yamal, who's 16. But rarely you get 16, 17, 18-year-olds who step onto a big stage and have this big an impact. You know, at 18 years old, I was second-year scholar at West Ham playing matches. No way I would have been ready at 18 to play in the European Championship. You know, people peak at different times. And for him to be at 18, now playing in the final, won an FA Cup this year, I think that in itself just tells you how good this boy is. So I think it's important that, you know, as a nation, we don't put too much pressure on him. I always say that. Just let him flourish, let him keep enjoying his football, and I think that's when you'll get to see the best of Kobe.
Speaking of young players, and I mean, you mentioned Lamine Yamal. He's 16, he's turning 17 tomorrow. Can you imagine what it's like to be under the pressure that he's under? I mean, the France players talking about him before the game, all the media attention, all the attention from the other team. So can you imagine what that's like?
Not at all. I think I see, as soon as we won the game the other day, I see a stat that he was 12 when COVID hit. So that was pretty scary that he was 12 years old when COVID was around. So it shows how good he is. He's 16. Look, I don't know why, you know, the French players, you know, would talk a player down like that, because what he's done at Barcelona as a 16-year-old, you have to actually just applaud it. You know, me as a football fan as well as a player, you have to respect it. And sometimes you have to say at 16, wow, that shows a lot of guts to play for Barcelona, one, but also to do what he's doing at that age. It's really, really special. So, like I said, there's mutual respect there between me, between their players, and I'm sure they've got the respect as well. And obviously it's a final that's there to be won. So look, we're ready. May the best team win. You know, good luck to them. But of course, you know, we really, really want this, and I'm sure the nation, everyone get behind us, and yeah, we'll feed off that energy.
What responsibility do you think the media and the referees and other players and teams have to protect these young kids?
I think young kids now are just becoming more and more aware to things. You know, at 16 years old, I was in digs, which is a house that I stayed in at West Ham, you know, finishing my school. Obviously, he's here doing his own work on the European Championship. So I think it's just we're in just completely different times now. I think 16-year-olds act way older than they actually are. And I'm sure I've seen the stories about his dad and things like that. You know, I'm sure he's had an unbelievable upbringing. He's been, you know, kept his feet on the ground, and yeah, I think that's shown why he's become such a good footballer, because he's got good people around him and people around him that care and want him to do well. So, yeah, fair play to him.
Okay.
Hi, Declan. Alberto Rubio from Marca from Spain.
Hey, mate.
England won the World Cup Under-17 in 2017, the World Cup Under-20 last year, the European Cup Under-21. You in the senior team, 3 semi-finals in the last 4 major tournaments. What do you think that are the key factors of this growth of the English football?
Yeah, English football has been growing for sure. I think if you would have said back in 2018 when England got to the semi-final against Croatia, that their path now, 6 years on, or 7 years on, that they would have reached 2 finals, a semi-final, quarter-final, no one would have quite believed you. So English football are on a great path, but like I said, it's now time to show that we can win. You know, nations like yourself, Spain, who've been there, won European Championships, won finals, they get that respect because they've done it in the big moments, and we've got to the big moments and not quite done it since '66. So I think now's a great chance for us as players, you know, us as a nation to, you know, take that next step and, you know, become champions. I think that's the next big step for England.
The second and the last one, you have a Spanish coach, Mikel Arteta, who coached also in City with Pep Guardiola. In this growth of English football. What influence do you think that the Spanish coach could have had? Thank you so much.
Yeah, I didn't know who the Spanish coach was until the other day when I see his name pop up just before. I hadn't seen him before, but I think the way Spain play, it's very similar to the way Arsenal play, the way Man City play. They have a lovely footballing style. You can see the way that they pass the ball around, which is really, really nice. Some of the movements they have. Like I said, big respect to them because that's been the identity of Spain for many, many years. You know, it's since back in 2010 when you guys won the World Cup, you know, there's been a massive identity to pass and move and pass and move. And I think Spain were probably not looked at as probably one of the favourites going into this tournament. And, you know, they've done really, really well. They've won all of their games. So it's going to be really tough. But like I said, there's a mutual respect there between the two. And it's set up to be a really, really good final. So, yeah, big respect to their manager and what he's done and also their players, but also to us as well for reaching it. And, yeah, like I said, made the best team win.
Hi, Declan. Ayush from Stats Perform.
Hey,
just wanted to ask you, you mentioned about the criticism earlier on, and one player who got a lot of it was Harry Kane, your captain. After his goal against Switzerland, no European player has more knockout goals in major tournaments than Harry Kane now. What makes him so clinical and so precise in front of goal?
I think it's just what he works on. I think you see him in training. From the first moment I stepped in with England and I got to watch him train, it was just, he was so driven to score goals. And it's just in him, you know, he's just got that fire in him that if he gets a chance, we all believe as a team that he's going to score, you know, and I think that's a massive quality to have. Obviously, he's come under criticism like we all have, but the way he channels it, the way he leads as England captain, and not a lot of people would see it, but he's been amazing for us, and for someone like him, he deserves it. You know, he deserves it. He deserves to win this trophy as England captain. He deserves to have his name written in history, and as much as each other and the manager and the fans, you know, for H as well, it would be so special if we could win this and he could lift it.
And he's been your captain for a while now as well at the England camp. Just what has he taught you as a leader over the years?
I think just his experience in key games, how calm he is in them moments, going into big matches, how he shows his quality on the pitch in big matches. You know, as a footballer, as an individual, going into these games, you can feel pressure, you can feel a different type of way, but just how composed he is, really. You know, he's not only just a striker. I think he could play in midfield, really, if he wanted to. You know, he's so all-round. He's got every quality under the sun. So I think he shows to all of us, you know, how good a player he actually is every day, you know, as a captain and as a leader.
And just finally, on a lighter note, where's this love for cricket come?
I've always loved cricket, to be honest with you. I'm not a massive watcher of cricket, like, I'll admit that, but playing it, I love playing it. It's just fun. You know, I've played it since I was a kid with my friends at school. It was massive in school days. We've got a few boys here who love their cricket. We obviously have quite a close relationship with the England cricket team, which is good. So yeah, we've been playing. I've been bowling a little bit, batting, and I think all the lads have been involved as well. So we've had a lot of fun doing that, which is amazing.
Okay, last one in this section here.
Hi, Declan, from Pablo from Spain.
Hey, mate.
I will ask you about Phil Foden. He came here as an MVP of the Premier League.
Yeah.
Playing in the left side and in the group stage. Maybe he is not playing or get all the ball that he needs, and now he's playing inside. How important is for you a player like him playing in front of you to have the best performance from the team?
He's so special. Like when you know a good football player when you see one, and the way he takes the ball on the half turn, and the way he runs with the ball and has close control and touches is just, it's incredible, really, to witness it and to see it. It's unbelievable. And like you said, playing on the left, maybe he sacrificed himself for the team a little bit. He's still done the best he can, like he always does. When we've seen him move central, we've seen him create more, take more touches, be more on the half turn, you know, ball reception, the way he's turning with the ball. He's such a top player. I can't speak highly enough of him, and the more we can get him on the ball, the better, for sure.
Now we ask you about Bukayo Saka. Spain, one of the keys of Spain are the wingers.
Yeah.
Bukayo has a worth ethic incredible. We see in the last 2 games playing in a different position. If it's a match that you have to help him more because of the wingers of Spain?
Well, definitely. I think it all depends on, how we set up, to be honest with you. Obviously, we've seen what Williams has done. We've seen what Yamal's done. 2 outlets for Spain who are top talents. There's no doubt in that. They're unbelievable players and are going to play for Spain for the next 15 years. But we have our own young attacking talents as well, who can produce just as good moments. So I think it's going to be a stage set for these young stars who can show what they can do. So yeah, it's all set out to be a very good final for these young players to showcase what they've got.
Okay, we've eaten up quite a bit of time, but we will have an embargo section now until tomorrow at 10:30 p.m.